Hi folks, Pete here. I've just seen something that borders on the impossible. The Beatles' new song called Now and Then. It was made possible through the creativity of George, of Ringo and of Paul, and also our very own New Zealander Peter Jackson. They took a recording of John's voice on a cassette, and through Peter Jackson's new software, they were able to bring his voice out. In the mid-90s, they had tried to do that for this particular song, but didn't have the technology. But that was when George was still alive, so George played a guitar track to it. In 2023, software came along and they were able to bring not only John Lennon's voice out but some of George's guitar as well. And then Paul and Ringo played their respective parts of bass and drums and also did harmonies. If anybody had said when the Beatles were at the peak that in 2023 they would release a new song, especially after John Lennon had been shot, and very much especially after George had died, it's impossible. It just couldn't happen. And yet, through creativity, the impossible happened. So what's the magic that does that? The magic is simply one word, it's creativity. A few months ago, I was on a forum where there was two opposing arguments. One was that to be creative, you had to be born creative. In other words, you had creativity in your genes, and the only people who were ultra creative were capable, on this particular argument, of writing and making music. Well, anybody that knows me would understand that I took issue with that because creativity can be taught. But not only that, we actually have creativity inside of us. That's all of us, not just the great composers and musicians that we look up to, the great painters, the sculptors, but every single one of us has creativity inside. The only thing that we need is to be taught how to get that creativity from inside to outside. In other words, how do we express that creativity? You all have creativity. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't have creativity within themselves. Sure, for some people, they naturally express it. But does that mean that you don't have it? Not in your Nelly. You have creativity. Think of a baby. They learn to crawl, and then eventually they learn to walk. And how do they learn how to walk? Well, experimentation. Put one foot on the floor, the other foot on the floor. Oh, look, I'm standing. Then if I happen to move these legs, hey, look, Mama, look, Papa, I'm walking. Experimentation, which after all is just creativity. Here's another example. The first locomotive that was made back in the 1800s could go around 30 mile an hour. That was the record for it. Society said, oh, come on, you can't go 30 mile an hour because everybody will die. No, it was impossible. You couldn't, you'd take everybody's life if you went over 30 miles an hour. So what we thought was impossible is not only now possible, but it's done every day of the year. What about light bulb? Remember that it was impossible to create light using just wires until Thomas Edison came along and and proved them all wrong by his creativity. In 1903, the Wright brothers flew, apparently for the first time, in a heavier than air aircraft. Of course, in New Zealand, we believe it was Richard Pearce that flew first. Google it, you'll find out. But either way, before that, flight was impossible until people got creative. They didn't only think outside the box, they threw away the box completely because it was no use. Their creativity made the impossible a reality. And you have creativity. You are a creative being. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. When you realize that you're a creative being, there's a special power that comes with that. We'll be looking at that in future videos. In the meantime, bit of news. The International Speech Academy courses are coming along, and we're taking applications for those courses early in 2024. My 3 books are selling well: marketing and real estate. Thank you to those who support me. Thank you to all those people who've liked the videos and contacted me about them. You're free to private message me or place a comment down below. What I need you to do is to like this video, and I need you to subscribe, because Peter Chatteris Inspire, if I can inspire you, you can inspire others, and that means the world surely will be a better place. Now, you've got to look after yourself first. It's not selfishness, it's common sense. What did the cabin crew say? They say, if an oxygen mask falls from the ceiling, you help everybody else before you help yourself. No, they don't. They say, put your oxygen mask on first before you help your children or other people. Why? Alright, imagine the scenario. Oxygen masks come down. You say, oh, I'm going to help them. Hang on, no, I won't put mine on, I'll help them. Meanwhile, while you're helping them, your oxygen runs out. Are you going to be able to help the other people? Of course you're not. So remember, put your own oxygen mask on first. Come on. That means looking after yourself first so that you can look after others. Well, it's a good thought, and I want you to think about that more and more, but also know that you are creative. Right, after 1, 2, 3, look after myself first so I can help others. Have we got that? Look after myself first so I can look after others. With that thought, here in Auckland, New Zealand, I'm going to sign out. And Pete's saying subscribe and like, and also shh.